Thank you, Ready for Pre-K, for that amazing warm-up. And good morning, Washington, D.C. I am Kiana Williams. I am the very proud principal of Smothers Elementary School, and we are so excited to have you here today. Where at Smothers, we work to guarantee that every student has a welcoming and nurturing learning environment and that they are able to become their very best selves and are exposed to rigorous content in a safe and nurturing learning environment. So today we are especially excited. It is our first day of pre-K, and we are excited to also celebrate our new curriculum. We look forward to using the Building Blocks curriculum in our classrooms and using it to support our youngest learners. I want to thank all of our distinguished guests who are here with us today for the kickoff of Building Blocks curriculum, and we have an extra special celebrity with us today, and that is Scribbles. The one and only Scribbles is here, and so at that time, I'd like for Scribbles to come on up.
Thank you, Principal Williams. Hi, everybody. Hi. Wow, I see a lot of new faces out there. Some families, some friends. Hi, Cheryl. My name again is Scribbles, and me and my friends are here from Ready for Pre-K to help families feel good about entering pre-K. Oh, and we have a YouTube channel just for us where we can practice early learning skills like the ones we'll use in school. Check it out, youtube.com/@ScribblesDCPS. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Wait, before we do that, have you seen the Pre-K magazine? Yeah, it's got a lot of interesting info for families who are entering Pre-K at DCPS. Thank you. Thanks. Yep, be sure to get one before you leave. That's me on the cover. Today is such an important day, and I am so happy that we can all be here together. Want to know why? Huh? Well, first of all, because I'm starting pre-K at DCPS! I am so excited! I can't wait to learn math and numbers. And secondly, because I have the honor of introducing you to a very important community helper. And we love community helpers in pre-K. She's the mayor of the entire Washington, D.C. area! It's true! And she loves learning. Mayor Muriel Bowser has served as our mayor since 2015. So that's, let me do the math. 8 years! Yeah, in that time, she's helped to grow our universal pre-K program in the district, which is the first of its kind in the country. And she's made sure that early childcare is available for as many families as possible by leading investments across the district. Now, everybody, say hello to a very special guest, Mayor Bowser!
Well, good morning, everybody. Let's give Scribbles a big round of applause. And I also, where did our principal go? Principal, thank you for all that you're doing here at Smothers. And you heard it from Principal Williams. They have exciting new things happening in pre-K and throughout all the grades. They've exceeded their enrollment targets for the year. And we want all families to know what's happening here in the building. So Principal Williams, I know, would be happy to tell you all about Smothers. So thank you for having us. We're also joined by Ward 7 Council member and our former Mayor Vince Gray. Give him a big round of applause. I'm going to say some more great things about Councilmember Gray because we're talking about, I know, what's near and dear to his heart, and that is universal pre-K. I also want to acknowledge the State Board President, Ebony Rose. Give her a big round of applause. Thank you. Ebony Rose Thompson. I'm going to just get all three of your names. Ebony Rose Thompson, who is here. And you are going to hear from members of our public education team, our chancellor, of course, of DC Public Schools, Dr. Louis Farabee, our state superintendent, Dr. Christina Grant, the deputy mayor for education, Paul Kine. I also understand we've been joined by the deputy early childhood education chief at for our school, Cheryl Olson. So give them all a big round of applause. So I just want to recognize all of our students. We're here at Smothers, but of course our little people all across the city in all 8 wards in pre-K 3 and pre-K 4 are starting their school year today. And how grateful we are, I know their parents, but all of us as a community, that we have free pre-K in Washington, D.C. And as a mom of a 5-year-old, I'm always just blown away that she's only 5 and so little, but she's already had 2 whole years of school. With a real teacher in a real classroom with real rules and high expectations. And that is just so valuable. And we should not, as Washingtonians, ever forget how much that means to each family. And so I want to say thank you to Mayor Gray, who made it a centerpiece of his tenure as mayor to make sure and to get through, which was not easy at the time, universal pre-K. That's no matter where you live, no matter how much money you make, no matter how many kids, background, anything. If you're a family in Washington, D.C., you have pre-K for all. So let's hear it for Council Member Vince Gray. Sometimes, Mayor Gray, you know this, when you make something really hard look easy, people forget how hard fought it was to get there. And that is the case for universal pre-K. This has been an outstanding first week of school. Congratulations, public education team. Earlier, we were at Raymond Elementary School, which was waiting for its modernization and, in fact, have been out of the building since before the pandemic, and now they're back in the building in a state-of-the-art facility. We were also at Elliott Hine Middle School in Ward 6, and President Biden and the First Lady surprised the students. And there we could talk about how those students made gains in math and ELA that put them exceeding their achievement before the pandemic. And so we know that represents great investments and a lot of hard work from all of our teams at central office, our teams at the state board, at OSSE, throughout our system to put programs and services in place. But it also represents a great commitment for our young people and their families who made education a top priority. So as Scribble said, we're proud to lead the nation in access to pre-K. And we're proud that 16,000 3- and 4-year-olds and about 75% are enrolled in pre-K. So that's about 75% of our 3- and 4-year-olds are in school with a teacher, in a classroom, in a building that supports their learning. Now, you know what I'm saying. Where are the other 25%? Because we want them to. And so that's a lot of children on their way to high achievement in elementary school, middle school, and beyond. We also know, because of a lot of hard work, that our teachers, including our teachers who are not in DC public schools, are going to have access to very competitive pay. And that's a great thing. Paul, I thought you would be the first one applauding. It is our goal to be what? an oasis for teachers. And what that means is that no matter where you live in the country, that you think of DC Public Schools and in DC as a place to come and hone your craft as a teacher and to grow in your profession. And so we are going to keep making those investments. You're going to hear the Chancellor talk about what Principal Williams has already alluded to, and that is a new math curriculum for our pre-K students. Did you hear that? We're also going to be talking about more professional development resources for our teachers. But the big message is that we want to send is we want math to be joyful for our kids. We want them to get a comfort level with math as early as possible. And we know that that will pay dividends when someone's sticking a test in front of them, asking them to show us what they know about math. So we're going to hear a little bit more about that. But I just want to say thank you to all the parents who are doing everything that they can to make sure that their young people are prepared to learn, coming to school, getting enough rest, and reinforcing what teachers are imparting on their young people throughout the day. We also want them to ask for help. There's so many resources in this city. If you're finding that your young person needs more help or needs to know about after and out of school time activities, needs help with transportation, needs help with social and emotional support, please call on us. You are not alone. Scribbles already shared with you our pre-K guide. Thank you, Scribbles. But we also have a back to school guide that is just chock full of information about where to go if you have a question on how to support your young learner. And this Saturday, I believe, DPR is going to host another event that really highlights programs and services that are available out of school. So in my opinion, this is the best city in the world to raise children. And so let's keep focusing on what we need to do in our schools and out of schools and how we support families. So congratulations, Chancellor, on this innovation in the curriculum. I heard it said recently that we only had to focus on one part of our system, and certainly classrooms and teachers and principals are a huge part of what we have to do. But we can never lose sight on what has made us the fastest improving urban school district in the nation, and that's always innovating. And so what I challenge these folks to do is not what we did last year. We want to do more and better and continue to innovate. And so that's what's been happening at DCPS. And I want to invite the Chancellor of DC Public Schools to say more.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, Smothers. Welcome, families, and all our special guests. It's good to see you here on this campus. And Scribbles, many don't know that Scribbles and I, we starred in a video together. It's good to see you again, always a pleasure. And then Principal Williams, I can't say enough about your phenomenal leadership. Congratulations to you and your staff and the gains in ELA and math and proficiency. And your gains in enrollment, that this is truly a first choice for families in the community, and that's a testament to your leadership and the service of your team. So again, congratulations to you, and thank you for welcoming us, and happy first day of pre-K. Yeah. So Principal Williams said there was a few tears today, but not many, and so we're welcoming our pre-K 3 and pre-K 4 students back. But what the mayor said earlier about the start to our week is so true. We've had an amazing start to our school year. Our students in K through 12 started on Monday, and it's been phenomenal every day since, and that's our expectation for each day. And DCPS is just proud of the way that our staff and our students have shown up these first few days. But we know the great start to our school year just didn't happen by chance or circumstance. There are many adults and supporters who are responsible for ensuring that our students receive the very best. And it takes a village. And so there are several people part of our village that are here today. I want to recognize first Mayor Bowser. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you so much. We also have with us today Deputy Mayor Khan. Thank you as well, sir. We also have Superintendent Grant. Thank you. Gets our students to school and transportation, has been supporting our professional learning. And also President Thompson, thank you. Your leadership is always appreciated with State Board of Education. And Councilmember Gray, thank you for being here today and starting this journey for early childhood education in DC. We appreciate your leadership. And so as we think about our pre-K students, we know that they come with a lot of curiosity. In fact, we have to do a little work to keep up with them. But we know that one way that we can support this curiosity is creating boundless imagination. And we do that through our curriculum. And so when we think about getting better and improving, we know we need bold and innovative math instruction to ensure that we keep up with that energy of our 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, especially when it comes to teaching math. And so we're committed to creating joy and confidence, especially around building math skills early and often. And we want to do that in every grade level. And you'll hear more about that today as we've launched what we call building blocks, which starts with our earliest learners in pre-K 3 and pre-K 4. So I'm excited today to introduce a new math curriculum that our teachers are thrilled to implement. And we know that building blocks is going to be extremely beneficial because it's nationally recognized, it's evidence-based, we've done our homework and research, and we know that this is best-in-class curriculum for our students. But we also know that it is a way in which young people can learn math in new and different ways by embedding math in all of the activities that students experience in their pre-K classroom. So we will make math fun. I'll repeat that. Yes, DCPS will make math fun. Now, we started today with our Ready for Pre-K team with a song, right? And so many of our pre-K students, that's how they start their day, with songs. And so you'll see math-centric songs throughout the school day. You'll see storytelling, playtime, everything that we do in the pre-K day will include math, and we expect to achieve big things with this approach. Throughout the year, our teachers also have an important role as well. They will be tracking students' performance through observations and the classroom work that is happening in each of our pre-K 3 and pre-K 4 classroom through what we call Teaching Strategies Goal. Teachers will use those insights in a combination with building block learning experiences to tailor individualized plans for development in math and literacy to ensure that each child plan meets their needs. We are specifically looking to build skills in areas like measurement, geometry, patterns, algebra, that's right, I said algebra in pre-K, and number sense. With measurement, we are going to ensure that students explore math with size, weight, length, and apply that to real-life situations, aiding their understanding of practical math concepts. And then there's geometry. We got shapes all around us. And so we will help students develop their spatial reasoning around shapes and learning through hands-on experience and exploration. And then for algebra, students will have an opportunity to deal with sequence and relationships, things like puzzles, to begin their understanding of those mathematical concepts and also problem-solving skills. And then with number sense, students will have an opportunity to understand numbers and how they relate to all the things that we do in life. We'll also be encouraging families to think about math, whether you're going to a restaurant or a grocery store. Math is all around us. And so we have parent information sessions as part of our parent university that will be coupled with experiences that students have here with building blocks in pre-K 3 and pre-K 4. So together, we know that our students will succeed in the classroom and be stronger in math. And now it's my pleasure to introduce one of the leaders that's been a part of this bold innovation, and in fact was a teacher here at Smothers Elementary School, our Deputy Chief for Early Childhood Education. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Cheryl Olsen.
Even with with my heels. I need to adjust this a little bit. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Farabee, for the introduction. I really appreciate it. Nice to see everybody this morning. I am so excited to be here at Smothers Elementary School. As Chancellor Farabee mentioned, this Smothers has a very special place in my heart. I started my career here many, many years ago as a pre-K teacher, and brings me so much joy to come back here and see not only this fabulously modernized building, which is gorgeous, but also to see the amazing learning environments that our pre-K teachers have created for our youngest learners. Many of you will have an opportunity to visit those this morning, and they really are beautiful. DCPS has long recognized the importance of early childhood education, particularly in pre-K, and is aware that the learning that takes place in our pre-K classrooms has a huge impact and really sets the stage for the learning that takes place in kindergarten, throughout their school careers, and in life for our students as well. I'm proud to work for a district that recognizes not only the importance of pre-K education, but also understands what I call the science of early learning, which is how young children learn, recognizing that at 3 and 4, children don't learn in the way that older students do. They learn through active, hands-on, fun, playful. The Chancellor mentioned the word joy. We use the word joy a lot. Playful learning experiences where the rigor is there, but it's hidden in all the fun and all the play. And our teachers are really, really skilled at creating those learning experiences, so our children have the opportunity to engage in child-directed play, in thoughtfully created learning environments in the classroom. You'll see that in the classrooms today in the Math Center, and also through teacher-directed lessons that, again, don't look like lessons. They look like play, but teachers are really intentional about using student data, thinking about students where they are, and then creating learning experiences to support their learning from there. That's one of the reasons that I'm so excited about the Building Blocks curriculum. It is, as the Chancellor mentioned, research-based. It's been studied for many, many years, and we know that kids who participate in this curriculum do much, much better down the road, not only in their math learning, but also literacy and other subjects as well. And it is a fun, playful, hands-on experience. It supports teachers in creating really individualized lessons and individualized learning activities that can be incorporated throughout the whole school day. So children don't even realize it, but they're learning math from the moment they walk in the morning to the moment they go home at the end of the day. I'm very, very grateful for the support of our incredible city leaders who recognize the importance of early learning and support us in all of the work that we do, and also work to make sure that our educators have what they need to create rigorous and fun, joyful learning experiences for all of our students, pre-K through 12, every day. And with that, please join me in welcoming our State Superintendent of Education, Dr. Christina Grant.
Good morning. Happy first day of pre-K, Washington, D.C. Good morning, Scribbles. I'm so excited to finally meet you in person. Dr. Olson, thank you so much for both your remarks and your warm introduction. Chancellor Farabee, yet again, we're in this together. Mayor Bowser, Deputy Mayor Kine, truly, thank you all so much. It feels so great to be here on today's Thursday, day 4, Chancellor? We're not counting. I am excited to be here with all of you and celebrate the first day of pre-K and all of the amazing supports that we have in place throughout the district in early childhood education. And I do want to underscore Mayor Bowser's remarks and tremendously thanking Councilmember Gray. We oversee at OSSI all of early childhood. We make investments in our children both in the womb from age 0 through age 5, and it's evident not just in this amazing school, but all throughout our city. We do lead the nation in early childhood education, and it is something we should tremendously be proud of, that we can say we love our little learners all the way through. As the mayor said, we also continue to lead this work in supporting our pre-K 3 and 4-year-olds, and I do think that deserves another round of applause. Now, given that we all know that high quality education for our early learners early in life is critically important, we also want to make sure that we're having those same types of investments with high quality, you heard the Chancellor say, and I'll say it again, evidence-based supports and investments for all of our students and our educators. The leaders at Smothers will know that this is important. Principal Williams, to walk into a school on the first day and not only know that the assessments have shown dramatic gains for your students, but to also know that you've exceeded your enrollment target. Kudos to you and your entire leadership team. That is heroic efforts, and I know it starts and stops with you. We are excited to announce today that through the Office of the State Superintendent of Education, we are also going to launch a new series of math teacher boot camps for all DC public schools. I know, Scribbles. Both and targeting our teachers who have less than 5 years of teaching experience. And so, Dr. Olson, I don't know if you remember what it was like the first day. I remember the first day they gave me 36 graders and said, go with God. And obviously it turned out well, but we hear our educators. It's more than just teacher compensation. Our teachers are clear that they want to be excellent when they stand in front of our children. They want to both have love, but they want to have deep training and a tremendous amount of capacity to serve our children and serve them well. And so that's why these boot camp seats are targeted for our educators that have less than 5 years of experience, because it's those 5 years that transition you into becoming a master educator, and you can lean deep in your craft. From our statewide results, which I'm very happy we have recently released, it shows that we have gains in both math and ELA, and it shows that the investments we have made are working, and we are building momentum. And we know that we can deliver on the promise of an excellent education for every child in Washington, D.C. I am truly grateful for your leadership, Mayor Bowser. You spoke about innovation. That looks like the three of us coming to you often with a lot of requests for investments and support and guidance. And that means that we are able to allow our students to learn and grow and thrive. This recent investment represents a $1.6 million investment of federal recovery dollars. We already have 200 teachers in our math boot camps, and we are putting forth resources to ensure that more teachers can join. And it's important to know that teachers are also getting paid a $1,000 stipend for participating in our math boot camps. These investments build on historic investments that Mayor Bowser has made in our public education system prior to and through the pandemic. It ensures our educators have access to high quality instructional materials, curriculum training, professional development, and they're done in a way that meets the needs of our educators. They're asynchronous, they're synchronous, they're high quality, and we are allowed to give them stipends to do so. As a district, we are focused on spending all of our time, energy, and effort to the momentum of delivering on the promise for our families, our children, and our educators to make this not just a teaching oasis, but a place where children will be taught, loved, and they'll become residents and members of this great city. We are working really, really hard. This feels like a great day for Chancellor. With that, I will turn things back to Mayor Bowser.
Okay, thank you. And I'll see if there are any press questions. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, you mentioned Carson briefly, we know that the scores are improved citywide, but we've also seen, achievement gaps kind of grow between white students and students of color. And I'm wondering if the public education folks can talk about that, what's being done to close those gaps, and how this new curriculum might fit into that.
Sure. Let's take that chance.
Yeah, so we have seen that, when our students were out during the pandemic, that some of our students were able to take a step forward further than others. And so through our high impact tutoring, other interventions, we've been really focused on those students that have been furthest from opportunity and also had the widest gaps academically. So we know it's going to take some time to close some of those disparities, but we also are very excited about the promise in the subgroups that have made progress, specifically our focus around our students receiving special education services. We've seen some gains there, and we'll continue to ensure that that's available to not only that subgroup, but others that have historically been challenged in DCPS. I think what you see and hear today is that there is evidence and there's purpose in ensuring that our students get off to a great start. And that is one of the ways that we address some of the disparities we have in our data is ensuring that when students enter in kindergarten, they have all the prerequisite skills to be successful in math and reading. And so this is another way that we deepen their understanding of mathematics. And as you heard today, we have a lot of confidence in the evidence-based approaches and building blocks.
Other questions?
So, and I think you have touched on this, but we just got the PARCC scores for math citywide. Can you talk about how this new program would potentially impact those scores down the road? And I mean, you've talked about it a little bit, but specifically to test scores and improving those gaps that we saw, obviously, lost during the pandemic.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for that question, Mark. And so last year, we were able to see the results of our work around the science of reading. You heard Dr. Olson speak to applying brain research and what we know about how students develop and learn math and reading concepts. And as a result, from this round of PARCC assessments, we're really close in DC public schools to where we were pre-pandemic, I think about 2 percentage points off. So we know that this upcoming year will likely exceed where we were pre-pandemic. Which is phenomenal to be there in just a few years since we've started back our assessments in PARCC. But we know that students took further steps back in mathematics, and there's discomfort around mathematics for both our students and adults. And so we want to ensure that students get off to a great start. And so with this building blocks curriculum, we get an opportunity to build that knowledge in the concepts I mentioned earlier, algebraic concepts, number sense, measurement, geometry. We believe that will put students on a stronger path. We have a goal of ensuring that all of our students are ready for Algebra 1 by 8th grade, and that starts in pre-K 3 and pre-K 4. So we believe that this will allow us to exceed those expectations, and when students are ready for Algebra in 8th grade, the possibilities are endless when they get into high school.
Any other questions? Yep. Sure.
Dr. Olson, you mentioned some of the research around the building blocks curriculum that's in other places, students who use this curriculum, they've shown improvement. Can you talk a little bit more about, I guess, what you were looking for when selecting this curriculum, what kind of outcomes you were looking for, and what we might expect in DC?
Absolutely, thank you. So I think when we were making our curriculum decisions, we were looking for two things. One, we wanted to make sure we had a curriculum that aligned with what we believe and what we know about how young children learn and what we want their classroom experiences to be like. And so that means we want it to be playful, we want it to be joyful, we want it to be asset-based, so based on what children know. So we don't want to see teachers asking or saying they can't do this. We want teachers to be looking at children's development and their thinking and thinking about where are they, what do they already know about this topic, and then how can we build on that? So it's asset-based. So all that to say we wanted it to align with the experience we wanted our children to have. And then, of course, we want it to work. We want to know that our children are going to be set up for success in kindergarten and long beyond kindergarten. Building blocks has been researched for over a decade. It's been used in many jurisdictions across the country, including large urban districts, and has shown very, very impressive results very consistently, far outpacing any other curriculum option. And what those results look like is that children who participate in building blocks classrooms, when compared with peers in other classrooms that do not use the building blocks curriculum, outperform on the math skills that Chancellor Farabee mentioned. And they also tend to outperform in other skills like literacy and things like that, which I find fascinating. And the same is not necessarily true of, we know how important literacy is. We work very hard to support literacy learning, but literacy learning doesn't necessarily correlate to math learning, but the opposite is true with math. So we know that when we're giving our children a really strong foundation at the age of 3 and 4, mathematically, that's going to help them not just mathematically down the road, but in terms of all of their other skills as well. And the research bears that out.
How does the program account for students who don't speak English? You have an influx of newcomers to the city?
Very good question. Yes, and so we have made sure that the materials are available in Spanish as well. We also know that we have quite a few young learners who don't speak either English and Spanish, are developing multiple languages at the same time. So there are teacher resources that come along with the curriculum that support teacher in teaching concepts and helping children develop in concepts that don't rely as heavily as on the language, on understanding English. And at the same time, children are developing vocabulary and things like that through the curriculum. But there are supports in place for teachers to make sure that that the curriculum is accessible to all of our students regardless of home language.
Off topic. Mayor, can I ask you about the 3 o'clock meeting that you're planning to have today with the victims of the fatal District Dogs flooding? Why did you decide to have this meeting?
I was asked, and I said yes. Like most constituents, if they ask me for a meeting, it may not happen immediately, but they can have a meeting with me.
Can I ask you, any response that you have to some criticisms that you have not reached out to any of the other people who've lost loved ones in emergencies or tragedies that had an OUC error, or to other people who, had children die in the district, for example, by gun violence, that they didn't get to have a meeting with you and would like to?
They could. They should ask if they want a meeting. Yep. Sure.
On the meeting, I know it's a private meeting. Can you give us any indication of what you might tell these families? I'm sure you've heard or read in the press some of their angst toward the business owner and the government as well, the response there. Can you tell us who's going to be? I know they asked to speak with you and several of your, or at least 2 of your agency heads. Can you tell us who will be there and what you plan to convey to the families?
Oh, well, they asked me for a meeting, so I plan to listen to them. And certainly nothing I can say will bring their pets back. And it is unfortunate tragedy. And I'm sure they are experiencing a lot of loss and pain. So I will be there to listen.
They asked to speak with the OUC director.
They asked to speak to me.
Well, I believe what they sent you was a meeting with you, OUC director, and the director of, I think, building services.
Mm-hmm. They will meet with me.
I appreciate that. Can I ask a different
Sure.
off-topic question? So the ramped up enforcement of the curfew goes into effect tomorrow, and it'll be different starting tomorrow, where kids will not be taken to a police station to wait for their parents. They'll be taken to DYRS to wait for their parents, and there will be, I don't know that intervention is the right word, but there will be an opportunity for someone at DYRS to check in with that family and see if there are things, wraparound services that could be provided to the families. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like what will that experience be like? What kind of services will be offered to these families if their kids are picked up on curfew?
I don't know that there is a one-size-fits-all, Mark, but I think that the difference between going to a police station in the middle of the night and going to DYRS gives us the opportunity to have them connect with officials whose job it is to work with kids who are at risk. So I don't know that I can tell you a laundry list, but we do have a laundry list of programs and services that are available to young people, and we'll have to see where that family is.
Along those lines, Mayor, we've had some pretty brazen crimes in the last few days involving young people. Why not enforce this curfew sooner? Do you think that could have helped in some of these situations where things happen late at night with young people?
The curfew is enforced. I don't want to give anybody the impression that curfew is just now being enforced. It is enforced. What we announced a few weeks ago were areas where we were seeing, quite frankly, mobs of young people who were showing up at different locations. And in other cases, other police data indicate that there was a need for more focused enforcement on the curfew. So we identified what those locations are, and we also identified how we could have the necessary personnel to support it, and a better way to deal with the kids and families overnight, during the overnight hours. So curfew always enforced. It will be more focused and possibly more enforcement depending on what's happening on those identified corridors. Yes.
Can I follow up just on juvenile crime? Two things. One, we saw MPD make an arrest of 5 juveniles, 2 as young as 13 years old. At least some of them were involved in the golf club carjacking that we all saw video of. You've been asked before, but what are your thoughts? Once again, as you see 13-year-olds committing violent crimes in this city.
We are, and I've said this for many months. My big concern is that we are, with inaction in some cases, teaching our young people or enforcing bad behavior. I believe in, we have to have a system of consequences, whether it's on the street or whether it's in school. And we will continue this fall talking about making sure we're in the right place for consequences within the school.
So if I can follow up on the consequences. Yesterday, Matt Graves, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, told reporters that he has instructed his prosecutors that if a juvenile, 16 or 17-year-old, is involved in what he called spree armed robberies or spree armed carjackings, where they're doing not just a one-off, but multiple incidents like these 5 who were arrested, that he's going to instruct his prosecutors to prosecute and charge them as adults, 16 and 17-year-olds. Your thoughts on that move by the U.S. Attorney?
I didn't have that conversation with the U.S. Attorney, so I'm quite sure if he said it, he has some trend information or some data that suggests that that's the appropriate prosecution journey. So I would welcome to have him to have that conversation with all of us, but I haven't heard anything like that come from him. Certainly haven't heard anything like that come from the Office of the Attorney General. And so I think that we need both prosecutors in the district to take this seriously. None of us wants to be in a position where we're teaching children that there are no consequences for bad activity. Because if we don't teach them, they're going to learn it one way or the other. And they're going to learn it, unfortunately, by going to a hospital, going to a funeral, or going to jail. So let's start teaching them while we have a chance to put them on the right track. Yes.
On the same line of consequences, did you have a conversation with the Attorney General or any other city leaders? Can you tell us your response to the 16-year-old charged with second-degree murder for a fatal stabbing over sweet and sour sauce at McDonald's, that juvenile was treated as a juvenile, not charged as an adult at 16 years old?
I haven't had a conversation with the U.S. Attorney about that. I don't, and I will never say, you will never hear me say that every child should be, regardless of the crime, should be charged as an adult, because I think there are a lot of factors that go into that decision. That's one of the things I'm not responsible for, but when I learn more about the individual circumstances, I tend to say more, but I won't say that in a blanket way. Thank you.